Joining us now, author of His Very Best, Jimmy Carter, A Life, MSNBC contributor Jonathan Alter. So, Jonathan, it's been an extraordinary couple of days, and now the return to Washington. It's quite befitting that the president's funeral procession began, of course, in planes. How did this rural Georgia community help shape Jimmy Carter's life? We saw the farm, which was extraordinary, the ringing of his bell that would awaken him every morning. And as you described it, I think it was a Sears Roebuck Craft house was their home.
Yeah, you know, that bell, which we heard rung 39 times to commemorate the 39th president, it rang an hour before daylight. So every morning when he was growing up, the bell would be rung by the black foreman of the Carter farm, and Jimmy Carter would get up and start working an hour before daylight. So I think the question of what did he learn in that community, first I would say hard work. Being a farmer is very, very hard work, especially since they had no mechanized farm equipment in the 1920s and 30s. And he also had no running water or electricity in his home. So you're talking about an astonishing American journey, an epic American story to go from barefoot boy to global humanitarian icon. And I don't think that any other American life really compares to this. In many ways, he lived in 3 centuries. The town he grew up in, it might as well have been the 19th century. Of course, he was part of all the great movements and was president in the 20th century. And the Carter Center has been on the cutting edge of global health and conflict resolution, democracy promotion, the big issues of the 21st century. It's not just that he lived 100 years, it's that he crammed a dozen lives into those 100 years. And he had an astonishing array of skills. Only 12 of those years, Andrea, were in public office. 4 as a Georgia state senator, 4 as governor of Georgia, and 4 as president. But when you think of what he did in those other years of his life, I think the tributes are just scratching the surface so far of his immense contributions to helping other people.